I almost didn't go to my parents' anniversary dinner, not because I was busy, because I knew how these gatherings worked. Every family has its traditions. Ours wasn't a special recipe or an old photo album. It was finding someone to laugh at. Most of the time, that someone was me. I had learned to smile through the comments. I had learned to ignore the comparisons. My younger sister, Vanessa, always seemed to enjoy being the center of attention, and my mother encouraged it more often than she admitted. My husband, Daniel, noticed everything. He rarely interrupted. He believed that stepping into someone else's family conflict too quickly usually made things worse. That evening began peacefully enough. People exchanged hugs, shared stories, and admired the decorations my father had spent weeks preparing. Then the jokes started. Someone mentioned my old career. Vanessa laughed that I always took life too seriously. My mother added that I had missed out on the fun years. Everyone chuckled politely. Daniel squeezed my hand under the table. He didn't speak, he didn't need to. As dinner went on, Vanessa became louder. She interrupted people, leaned across the table toward Daniel whenever she wanted attention, and laughed a little too hard at everything he said. He answered politely, but never encouraged her. I noticed so did he. Still, I convinced myself I was imagining things. Families can be awkward. I didn't want to become the person everyone accused of being overly sensitive. Dessert arrived. My mother stood with a glass raised, thanking everyone for celebrating another year of marriage. People applauded. While everyone looked toward my parents, Vanessa casually walked behind Daniel's chair. Before I understood what she intended, she lowered herself onto his lap as though it were the most natural thing in the world. The room exploded with laughter. My heart stopped. Daniel froze. I looked around, expecting someone to react. No one did. Then my mother smiled, lifted her glass a little higher, and said, "They actually look better together." Another wave of laughter rolled across the room. My face burned. I stood so quickly, my chair scraped loudly across the floor. My hands were shaking, not because I wanted to scream, because I suddenly realized no one expected me to leave with my dignity intact. They expected me to become the next joke. Before I could say a word, Daniel carefully stood. Vanessa had no choice but to step away. The room slowly became quiet. Daniel looked directly at her. His voice remained calm. "I married your sister because she's the only woman in this room who knows the difference between affection and attention." Silence. Claimed silence. Vanessa's smile disappeared instantly. No shouting, no insults. Just one sentence. For the first time all evening, nobody laughed. My father slowly lowered his fork. An uncomfortable stillness settled over the table. My uncle quietly cleared his throat. Then my grandmother, who had spent most of dinner saying very little, looked directly at my mother. "Enough." It wasn't loud, it didn't need to be. She turned toward Vanessa. "Apologize." Vanessa looked around as if waiting for someone to rescue her with another joke. Nobody did. She glanced at my mother. Even Mom avoided eye contact. "I didn't think it was a big deal," Vanessa muttered. Grandmother answered before anyone else could. It became one the moment everyone else laughed. No one argued. My father finally spoke. "I should have stopped this immediately." His voice carried more regret than anger. He looked at me. "I'm sorry." It was the first genuine apology I could remember hearing from him about anything involving our family. Vanessa quietly apologized. It sounded rehearsed. Maybe she meant it. Maybe she didn't. At that point, I wasn't interested in measuring sincerity. I only cared that for once, someone had drawn a line. Dinner continued. People spoke more softly, the teasing never returned. When Daniel and I left that evening, neither of us said much during the drive home. Finally, I asked, "Did you already know what you were going to say?" He smiled faintly. "No, what made you say it?" He kept his eyes on the road. "Because respect isn't something you defend by shouting. You defend it by refusing to let disrespect become normal." That sentence stayed with me longer than anything else from that night. The anniversary wasn't ruined because someone finally spoke. It had nearly been ruined because everyone else had convinced themselves humiliation was simply part of the celebration. Things with my family never completely returned to what they had been. Some relationships became distant, some conversations became more careful. Oddly enough, I didn't mind. For the first time, I wasn't carrying the burden of pretending everything was funny.